What is up, my friends? So, Lovecraft Country, and wow, what a show. I always say after each episode, and if you watch my episode breakdowns and everything, I'm just like, you know what? That was my favorite episode. You know what I'm going to say this week? This was my favorite episode. And I think that's very particularly good when a show can have you do that, when every episode just tops each other's episode, and you're just like, damn, the show just gets better every time. And this is how exactly I feel about this show. Every time I watch an episode, I'm just like blown away about how they're able to very much so tell a story and have references from horror, sci-fi, and all of this, and also the historical context that comes with everything, as well as being a social political commentary on that time as well as our time today. And you know what? It always gets to me, and I'm happy with a show like Lovecraft Country. So, pretty much let's get right into this one, where it starts right off where the last one ended. As we know, in the last episode, Hippolyta went on this whole, I would say, on my previous video, a awakening of sorts and spiritual journey, finding herself. Now, she didn't come out of this, and we don't know exactly what's going on, but the episode does start off on a strong, very much so sad note, as we are in the time now of Emmett Till's murder. And so we see how this was all like happening at the time, in the moment. And if you're not aware of that, it is a very unfortunate and dark time as well, and I would highly suggest you go read up on it as well. But in the case of the show, Emmett was Diana's friend, and Diana is already going through a lot, where her friend now being murdered by racist pieces of shit, and then her father having died, and her mother being missing. And so this is just a lot of weight for her to deal with. On top of all of this, now she's having to deal with getting cursed by Captain Lancaster, who is trying to find out where Hippolyta is, as he found one of her comics that Diana had given to her at the side of the machine. And so he's pretty much like wanting to know what's going on and wants the Ori just to get the key and all of that. He puts this curse on Diana in order for her not to talk, and it has her being chased by these twins. Now, these twins come from the Uncle Tom Cabin book. Now, Uncle Tom's Cabin is another book that talks about slavery and all of this, but the way the twins are presented as well, and they were presented in that book as well, the girl is more of a caricature of making fun of African Americans during that time, and you can sort of equivalate that to of blackface. And I think that the show in itself was talking about how all of this was plaguing like a child like Diana and everybody else during these times, because they would see these imagery. And so it's like a double curse, if you will, because it was all over in that time frame. Like, they would use this just to pretty much degrade them. And so now you have this thing following you that is the blackface type thing. So that's pretty much what those twins were right there. We see Ruby going through a lot as well. It pretty much goes to Christina for comfort of sorts, but not really. And it just turns into Christina pretty much trying to question what Ruby really is feeling. So we have all of that going on, as well as Ruby coming out to Letty, letting her know that she has been seeing Christina and that she is trusting her. Letty, of course, isn't that trustworthy of Christina, and she's pretty much like for Ruby to be careful, because you can't trust Abby. Letty does tell Ruby that she is pregnant, and Tick finds out that she is pregnant even though she hasn't told him. But the reason he finds out is because in the previous episode, he says he actually went into the future and a woman gave him a book that was written by his son, George Freeman. And so what we find out now is that he has seen pretty much what's going to happen as well, and he knows he has to like get this spell and everything. And so what we see happen as well is that Jeanne returns, and she is pretty much telling Tick, you are going to die. And he's like, why the hell are you telling me this? But I think he knows this, so it's even more further aggravating him to hear it again, and for it to be sort of reaffirmed, because he went into the future, read the book, all of that. And so he just tells her like, we gotta stop this, all of this. So we have that happening. So he tries to go and do his spell, but Montrose is like, I can't have you die and my grandson die, so I'll go ahead and chant the spell. That way nothing happens to you, and if something happens to me, at least I died knowing I was doing this for my son and my grandson. And they do the spell, but nothing seems to happen, and so there's that. Diana ultimately goes to confront Captain Lancaster about the curse he has placed on her and how to get rid of the twins. He tells her he'll get the curse off of her if she goes and gets the orrery, which Diana seems to do, but then she doesn't. She's just going to confront the twins on her own. So she places this whole, like, elaborate plan, if you will, where she's going to trap them and just beat them with a pipe, but it doesn't go according to plan as Montrose shows up and he's holding her back, and of course he can't see the curse or any of it that's happening. So while we're seeing all of this happen, they're tearing into her arms and we see blood everywhere. The police end up showing at Letty's house where they are there to do a search warrant, they say, but then it turns out Captain Lancaster and them can't get in because the house is protected by magic, to which he is surprised. So now they're pretty much like, you know about magic and you know I know about magic. This ain't gonna end well. So we see them start to shoot up the place, and then Tick shows up, and then he's like, no. You know, because he knows Letty's pregnant. He knows his son and all of that, and Letty's in there. And he's like, my family, I'm trying to protect them. Here I go. And the police are about to shoot Tick when suddenly a Shoggoth appears. And yes, the spell actually worked, and here we are. So next episode, final 2 episodes, my friend. This has been a show that keeps on giving, and I'm excited to see the conclusion for it. I'm not sure if they're actually going to do a season 2 or not of it, but I would be surprised if they don't, because I think it's a pretty good show and I think they should definitely continue this. But you let me know what you think about it below. So as I said, a lot of references here to a lot of literature, sci-fi, horror, all of that. I think my favorite reference from horror and movies definitely has to be the Nightmare on Elm Street feel we got during Diana's scene with those twins, especially with the girls doing jump rope as well as the chanting and just the long fingernails. I mean, come on. So definitely very, very much loving how this show ties all of these things together as well. And it's just going to be interesting to see how it's all going to come to an end. I thought it was pretty meta that Tick's son actually writes the Lovecraft Country book here, and the book that he has written here is different from their story because they have Christina being a man and all of this, and so that's how the original book is, and they changed it up for the adaptation on TV. So I like how meta that has that going and acknowledges all of this as well. And I don't know if Christina is up to something and is just really using Ruby like Letty says. It seems like it to me, but you know what, we may be surprised. The next episode is going to have them asking Christina for help to get rid of the curse on Diana. I'm not sure how they're going to be able to do that, if Captain Lancaster really is dead, and if he is dead, then what is stopping Christina now from fulfilling everything according to Tick? On the autumn equinox, she will be sacrificing him for immortality, they say. So that is according to the book, so I don't know if they're going to rewrite it and be like, this ain't happening on my watch or what, but I am interested to see how it's all going to play out. Like I said, what are your thoughts on the last 2 episodes? What do you think is going to be happening? I'll be making a theory video this week to talk more about what I think they're going to do by the end of these episodes and where is this going, if it's going for a season 2 or not. Anyways, as always, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, why don't you go ahead and subscribe. We are on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We hit 16,000 just last week, and I'm super pumped to see where we can head this month. Anyways, that'll do it for me. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at NerdRound. Also, my anchor down below. Also, my website, nerdround.com. I'll see all of you next time. Stay safe. Stay positive. Hey, if you're still listening, check out the video on the left. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like, comment, share, all that good stuff. I'll see you next time. Stay positive.